All right, everybody, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Late to Work podcast. Um, so I'm just going to get right into it. Today we have a heavy one, man, and this ain't for the lighthearted. This trial is devastating at the core. Um, it is the stepmother murder trial, is what it's kind of known as. Letecia Stauch, Stauch, murdered her stepson, Gannon Stauch. And Gannon's father, Al, was away doing some training for the Coast Guard. And she murdered Gannon, stabbed him multiple times, shot him twice. And the crazy part is they are saying he was already dead when she shot him. And then she put him in a suitcase and discarded him under a bridge in Florida. And they lived in Colorado. So she discarded of him 1,000 miles away. I have some really good footage, trial footage. I have testimony from the person who found the suitcase. I have phone calls. I have hours of phone calls of Letecia talking to Al because it took them 6 weeks to find Gannon. So for that 6 weeks, Al, Gannon's father, was calling Letecia, "Where is Gannon? Did you kill him?" And it took 6 weeks. And then finally they arrested her they arrested her before they found the body. Anyways, I'm going to get right into it. We got some trial coverage. Here is the prosecution's opening arguments. Viewer discretion advised. This one hurts the heart. There's some stuff that I'm going to play that really hurts. All right.
January 26, 2020 and into January 27, 2020, she was the sole provider for Gannon. Her husband, Al Stauch, Gannon's father, serves in the National Guard. He was in Oklahoma for National Guard training, left that Saturday night, the 25th. Everything that happened to Gannon from that point forward was her decision. She carried out actions to kill Gannon, to put his body in a suitcase and hide it, to hide evidence of what she did to Gannon. Told numerous stories to investigators to manipulate the course of the investigation. And finally, to discard Gannon inside that suitcase off of a Florida bridge like garbage. January 27, 2020, Gannon's home, located at 6627 Mandan Drive, here in Colorado Springs, Colorado, turned into the stuff of nightmares. In fact, the one place a little boy like Gannon should have felt the safest, his bedroom, turned into, like I said, the stuff of nightmares. That bedroom is, in fact, where he was brutally murdered. The defendant attacked him viciously, mercilessly, deliberately, and intentionally. These are exhibits that you'll see from the doctor down in Florida, Dr. Ignacio, when she performed the autopsy. He'll tell you that Gannon suffered 18 stab wounds to his body, his chest, his back, his head, and most importantly, his arms and his hands. Why is that important? Gannon was fighting for his life, and those were defensive wounds. Next came a crushing blow to his head that was so strong, it fractured his skull like an eggshell. That wasn't enough for this defendant. He retrieved a 9mm handgun, fired it at Gannon 3 times. 2 bullets struck the pillow near him and were caught in the fibers of that pillow. That 3rd bullet entered his jaw, traveled through his head, fracturing his mandible, his vertebrae, hitting his spinal cord, and lodged in the back of his head and was recovered at autopsy. Gannon's life drained from his body, drop by drop. The photo that's on the screen right now is a picture of his bedroom. Same corner where he was in that picture, or where you'll see him in the picture in the bed. Each one of those markers signifies a small blood drop that splattered.
This one's painful, man. And I don't know how Al, the child's father, kept his cool. But I'm going to just go ahead and play a phone call from Al calling Letecia, asking, "Where is Gannon?"
Hey.
Hey.
Are you ready now? Are you ready to talk to me?
I have been talking to you.
Okay. Yes, you have.
Look at her in the bottom right. That's her. Just she looks like the girl from The Ring. That movie, The Ring.
Okay. Where's Gannon? Where's Gannon, Tisha?
I just told you.
No, don't tell me fucking Quincy Brown. Tell me where Gannon is. There's no Quincy Brown. There's no Quincy Brown.
The reason he's saying there's no Quincy Brown is because one of her 3 stories was that a guy named Quincy Brown raped her and then kidnapped Gannon.
Where is Gannon? Where did you take Gannon?
He took it. Why don't you put me in a lineup and let me look for it?
Where did you take Gannon? Where is Gannon?
Gannon anywhere.
Yeah, but you told me you did. You told me you took him to Petco and to Douglas County and Tobacco. Where is Gannon?
To me and something I didn't do? What's wrong with you?
Where is Gannon, Tisha?
By the way, she's admitted to the murders. She's pleading insanity, so that's what this whole trial's about. And the prosecution still has to lay out all the evidence. Even though she admitted to the crime, they still have to lay out all the evidence to try to prove that she was not insane at the time of the murder.
I've already told you. You think you could be this interrogator all you want?
No, I'm not. You're my wife, and I'm trying to talk to you.
Hey, you're not trying to talk to me. You're trying to put me 6 feet under what you're trying to do.
Why are you so afraid to just tell me the fucking truth, the real story, just for once? Okay, you can
That's
tell me
the truth.
You can tell me bullshit 20 more times. Just right now, tell me the truth. Where is Gannon? You did not tell me where he is.
I know where he is. Quincy Brown took him. What's the guy's name?
Listen, fuck Quincy Brown. Don't ever say that name to me again because it's bullshit. Eduardo is bullshit.
She tried to say Quincy Brown took him, and that was a bullshit story. I mean, it has come out, and she's admitted that she murdered Gannon. This is, like they said, this is stuff of nightmares. I have a 5-year-old, and I cannot imagine. I don't know how Al kept us cool for so long. There is hours of phone calls. Gannon Stauch was just 11 years old. Innocent boy, 11 years old. It's just insane. Here's a little bit more of the prosecutor's opening.
January 26, 2020, something bad happened inside the Stauch family home. Gannon suffered some burns. You'll learn this from a video recording this defendant made that night, January 26th. You'll hear her as she manipulated Gannon, putting guilt on him for some mistake that the child made. And in that recording, you'll hear Gannon say in his own words, "I'm just worried about my burns."
Okay, I'm going to play what they were just talking about. This one is tough. This is heartbreaking.
I promise it's the last time I'm going to ask you.
So somehow there's a recording of Letecia talking to Gannon, and I guess he either cut a hole in the couch or like something happened to the couch, and she's mad at him. She's like, she's saying, we can sell all your games. We can pay for the couch. It's okay. It's okay. And all poor Gannon says is, I'm just worried about my burns.
I'm just freaked out, okay? Are you sure you didn't do it on purpose? I did it. Okay, we promise. You promise.
So you can hear Gannon crying in the background. This is really hard to listen to.
Pinky promise. Pinky. Okay, all right. So listen. We're gonna have to sell stuff to fix it. Okay. So we figure out what we gotta sell. We can sell the sofa. We can sell whatever, because we gotta get it fixed. So, lady, don't be mad at us and kick us out of the house. Okay. You got it? You got it?
I'm just worried about my burns.
Okay, shh. Listen. Mar, listen.
I'm just worried about my burns.
Okay, shh. Listen. So,
I'm just worried about my burns.
okay, shh.
And then she shushes him. I mean, this is unbelievable. This one is, it is a tough one, guys. It really gets to me. All right, I'm going to play a little bit of testimony of the guy who found the suitcase.
And I said, Matt, I think there's something dead in here. And unfortunately, we do come across sometimes somebody will throw out a litter of puppies or something in a bag, and that's not uncommon. And it smelled, but it was so strong. It was different that day. So
He's talking about finding the suitcase, and here's some more.
and the first thing I remember seeing was just two little feet, and that had little football socks on them. The best I remember, I remember there being little socks on them.
Okay. I mean, that's devastating. This is some crazy testimony. This is Leticia's brother testifying how he helped Letecia load that suitcase into the car. And he testified that it is, in fact, the same suitcase that he was asking her, what's in the suitcase? And she wouldn't let him go near it.
So when you get to the budget area, did you know that you were going to transfer things from one van
This
to
is their
another when
brother.
you got there?
Yeah.
So did you talk about that on the way to the budget rental van?
Yeah.
So talk to the jury about that. How did you guys go about doing that, moving the items from one van to another?
We just went around right to the side of the budget place, and we just backed the vans up and just swapped them out.
During that process, did you see the defendant with a rather large suitcase?
Yes, sir. I seen her with a lot of suitcases. Well,
So, I mean, there's proof well, they know it's Leticia's and the family's suitcase because they found blankies and stuff in there. But I mean, it's just ridiculous. Anyways,
because it looked like she was struggling with it.
they're still talking about the suitcase.
Did you offer to help her?
Yep.
What'd she say?
She didn't need help.
Did you ask her what's in the suitcase?
Yep.
What'd she say?
She told me it was softball stuff.
Why'd you ask her what's in the suitcase?
I didn't feel right about it.
What about that suitcase didn't make you feel right?
I just felt like it was too heavy for her.
This is tough stuff. I feel really bad for that guy. He thought he was helping his sister out.
I remember that suitcase looked old and it's green.
Is that
And-
the suitcase you saw?
They're talking about the suitcase that he saw her loading up. And then in the back on the TV is a picture of the suitcase Gannon was found in. And they're the same suitcase.
Sister putting into the budget van?
Yep.
Is that the suitcase you asked her about what's in it?
Yep.
Is that the suitcase you didn't feel right about?
Yep.
Is that the suitcase she told you is softball equipment?
Yep.
I mean, I feel bad for this guy. He also testified that his father died when he was 7, and there's just pain in his voice. Just pain in his voice. I'm gonna play a little bit of the body cam footage. It's the reason I'm playing this is not for the body cam footage. I want you to notice Letecia, what she looks like in court. That's her on the left.
Let me look on this thing. He did have this.
Tell me she doesn't look like the girl from The Ring. Ugh, she's scary, man. She's just been sitting there like that this whole time. And there was testimony that she was lipping things to the jury. The judge got a note about her signaling to the jury. I'm going to play that now.
I've received a question from one of the jurors that is directed to me. And I will read it to the lawyers. You can think about a response, but it says, I have observed the defendant think it's mouthing. I have observed the defendant mouthing occasional words or physical gestures like agreeing or disagreeing. Do we ignore this behavior? My initial thought, and I've had this question.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. There's nothing too malice about that, but they're just asking a simple question. You know, is she allowed to do that? But man, she looks creepy in that video. Not in that video. The whole time during the trial, she looks creepy. I mean, it's something else. Okay, so let me jump into this. Is devastating autopsy testimony from the gal that did the autopsy. They found hydrocodone in 11-year-old Gannon's liver.
Things did you find in Gannon's bodily tissues?
He also had hydrocodone in the liver tissue.
All right, so let's talk about hydrocodone. What is hydrocodone?
Hydrocodone is a narcotic analgesic. It's a drug used for pain, and that is
I mean, it looks like she was drugging the poor kid too. I mean, they found hydrocodone in his liver after, when she was doing the autopsy. This poor kid went through it. All right. Next, I'm going to go into the prosecution defining what insanity means, because remember, Letecia is claiming that she's insane. That's why she's trying, she admitted to killing Gannon, but her defense is insanity. Here's the prosecution talking about insanity.
It has to do with sanity, specifically the defendant's sanity. At the conclusion of the evidence, the court will give you jury instructions. One specific jury instruction will talk specifically about insanity. It will read that as to the question of sanity, the defendant was insane at the time of the commission of the acts if she was so diseased or defective in mind at the time of the commission of the acts as to be incapable of distinguishing right from wrong with respect to that act, or she suffered from a condition of mind caused by a mental disease or defect that prevented her from forming a culpable mental state. That is an essential element of a crime charge. A culpable mental state is like an intentionally or knowingly. Evidence in this case will show that she could distinguish between right and wrong, and that she was absolutely capable of forming the specific intent required for these charges.
Okay, so that's the prosecution arguing that she was sane. Here is the defense's. This is basically what they're trying to say.
Stauch's head.
They're trying to say that she thought Gannon was a demon, and that's why she killed him. And this defense attorney's just giving it all he's got. I mean, he's a public defender. Whatever case comes across his desk, he has to defend them, and that's what sucks about being a public defender.
All the stab wounds, the shootings, the bruisings, the beatings, the burns. What was going through that person's head? I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. For the person that she was killing that day, attacking, I wasn't Gannon. I wasn't Gannon to her. Wake up that day and go, I'm going to kill him. No. She was killing the demons. Her life. from the dark depths of her childhood.
All right, so I guess they're gonna just, throw it out there. I mean, what's really scary about this case is she was married to Al Stauch. She was like while he was away. Remember, he was away for some training, I believe, for the Coast Guard in Oklahoma or something, and she was the sole provider for Gannon. I don't know all the details around his biological mother, but I do know there is footage of her, on the news talking about how devastated she is. But she was normal. I mean, she was married. This guy left his son with her. And then this happens. And it's just it's devastating. So I'm going to play a little bit more. This is Al Stauch, the father's testimony. This is him on the stand.
I got to come home. I had not to get ahead, but I think the defendant had called 911.
The defendant telling you that her car was at French, you go to French, and it's not there.
And that was the key moment when I switched from she knows more than she's telling me she knows. And then she proceeded to tell me a story about how a man got in the house somehow. I don't remember that specific version, but he got in the house, raped her, abused her, beat her.
So she had several stories. There was this guy, Quincy Jackson or something, that came and raped her and stole Gannon. Then she went with Gannon, went to his friend's house and just never came home. And here's a chilling phone call with her and Al.
But you were the last one to hear him.
So they're playing the phone calls during the trial. These are the phone calls between Al Stauch and Letecia Stauch. Because remember, they didn't find Gannon for 6 weeks. So for 6 weeks, this guy was calling his wife, Gannon's stepmother, begging her to tell him, what did you do with Gannon? Where is Gannon? Look at her in the bottom right corner. That's her. She looks like, it's chilling. She looks like the girl from The Ring.
Speak. Okay, which was Monday when you were driving around and he left the house. The last time we heard him speak, I don't know. I don't know when that was. Before I left, probably. When I left and he went downstairs to watch Pokemon. That's the last memory I have of him.
Albert, let me tell you something. People don't have the life that I have. People don't just be a normal person, just doing their thing, finally have what they want to do and be in the sky working. Oh, they don't do that. People premeditate things.
Yeah, I don't know what she's talking about in that. I don't know, but there's a lot of her just like yelling at him, basically playing the victim. It's like Gannon is gone. He's gone under your watch, and you've had 3 different stories. And it's just devastating that she stabbed him 17 times, shot him twice, burned him several times. There was hydrocodone in his liver when they did the autopsy. It's so sad what she was doing to Gannon. So here is a phone call of her basically saying Gannon was hiding when that man Quincy was in the house.
Oh, and all these places. I thought Gannon was hiding too. I thought he was hiding too.
Okay, so you thought so the guy was in the house and you thought Gannon was hiding. So
that's Al talking to her. He's just trying to get her to tell him the truth, and she's just giving all these crazy stories.
Hadn't taken Gannon yet at that point?
No.
Okay, all right. Well, that's huge. That's huge because now we can look at different camera time frames and all that, and we can look at different angles. Okay, that's huge that he was still in the house, and so that would have been police got there. What like?
Like that. I'm not making this up.
I'm not. No, I know. I'm trying to sort through this again. I'm trying to get you to this point to where
Not anymore because they'll try to incriminate me for this. I need immunity.
I think they give it to you because this is big that he was there and they missed it.
I mean, she's screaming, "I need immunity." Nothing screams guilty more than that. I mean, her feelings started getting the best of her. She couldn't live with what she did. She was free, rightfully so. She's a monster. She's an absolute monster. Here's some more testimony.
Told me to be straight.
They're playing. This is another phone call they're playing in court.
You on the phone, and I'm trying to sit here and tell you.
In Colorado, they don't. So basically, this is just a camera that's live streaming from the court. They don't have court TV cameras inside the court, so most of the time you can't see the defendant. I don't think they showed Al on the stand at all.
My own husband, every little detail, everything. You think I don't love my family?
All right, Tisha, listen. Like I said the whole time, I'm just trying to help you and trying to keep you and Harley safe from all. I mean, these people are after me now. I don't know who the hell it is, but like I said, I had to go get my clothes changed and everything just so I can blend in better. And I want you to know that no matter what, we can work through this together, and I can help you, okay? But you just gotta let me help you. But you told me to be straight up. I got a very straight up question, okay? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Did you kill Gannon? I need to know. I need you to answer me yes or no right now.
I killed Gannon.
Did
The
you?
answer is no. I can't believe you asked me this.
I just gotta know you. I told me to be straight up. I
Well, she did, and admitted it.
gotta know what's happening to my son.
Tell me why you would think I killed
This poor guy. I mean, he is so patient on the phone. It's terrible.
Gannon.
There's a lot of unknowns. I mean, being straight up again, you changed your story again to me for the fourth time.
No, I changed my story.
You did. This is the fourth version of the same story. Okay.
Wow.
Like half of what you told me today, with the cut foot, and now he's got burned arms and picking it, and his butt's bleeding. All this stuff is new to what you told me the other day. And the other day you told me you cleaned up the area where you got raped so nobody would see it. But now you told me you just changed clothes. I just don't know what the hell's going on.
I didn't tell you. First off, you never even listened to me about anything that went
I
on.
did. No, you stopped because I listened to you. I listened to you, and then I went and got the guns and put them in the truck, and then I came back and me and Landon listened to you, and then I stopped and picked your story apart. So get it straight, Tisha. I listened to you, and I said, if I'm wrong about the rape, I will get on my knees and beg you for forgiveness. Did I not say that?
Yeah, but you haven't.
Exactly, because I haven't been proven wrong yet. I want the truth. If I'm wrong, if the police, no matter what they're doing, the FBI, the CBI, the CBS, whoever, okay, if they tell me I'm wrong, I will publicly in front of the world.
Yeah, so he was telling her that the rape didn't happen because remember she was saying that she was raped by some guy named Quincy, and then he kidnapped Gannon, and she had so many different stories. I mean, I had testimony, but there's just so much testimony. It's hard to break this all down. Here's a phone call about her timeline.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, because there were some things that I was looking into on my own, which I've basically been doing for 3 weeks now, trying to sort through this on my own, that weren't making sense and weren't adding up. Okay, and just like where we're at now, yesterday, thank you for talking so long and walking me through your timeline, but even yesterday when we were talking, a lot of it wasn't adding up, and it still isn't. Like, there's 3 or 4 different versions of the Mexican guy now. He's Uncle Matt. First he was Mexican or whatever. I don't want to argue.
I said he asked me, did I know?
Yeah, there's just so many phone calls. Here is, let me see. Here is one that she was saying she was trying to help the cops.
Oh, you said what? What did you do?
I tried to point to the cops and hey, check this area. Hey, check this area. I was even trying to show them any other extra areas that I saw. But I didn't know if Gannon was with him, or I didn't know if Gannon was by nobody. I didn't know at that point.
Okay,
but then you figured out. How'd you figure out he wasn't by himself?
I'm not selling anything else to target immunity.
Well, I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to put all this together.
She's begging for immunity.
You said you pointed them in a direction, but where in the storage room were you?
Directions. I said I was just giving all the big areas of the house.
I got you. So you told them storage room?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's just hours of testimony. So, knowing that she killed Gannon, she admitted to it. Watch this news. She went on the news and was testifying that every one of you is going to apologize to me when Gannon comes home, and you're going to realize that you were falsely accusing me. And it's just chilling that she would get on the news. And I mean, it's chilling that she would do this in the first place. But this is in court. On the TV in the background is the news footage, and that guy is the news anchor on the stand.
Gannon.
The message for Gannon I have is, Gannon, when you get here, you'll be able to truly tell what happened. And then I really hope I get a sincere apology from everyone who has made all those things, especially from my husband.
Any message for Gannon?
Let's play that one more time, knowing that she admitted to committing the murder. This is her on the news while Gannon was missing.
The message for Gannon I have is, Gannon, when you get here, you'll be able to truly tell what happened. And then I really hope I get a sincere apology from everyone who has made all those things, especially from my husband.
Especially from my husband. I mean, she is another type of evil. It's scary. And what's really scary is she was his sole provider. Al trusted her. It's just scary. I think that's about it. I don't really have anything else. I have a little bit more testimony from Al.
And at least, I mean, would it be fair to say
This is not a phone call. This is the defense asking Al questions. Unfortunately, you can't see Al. They don't have cameras on the witnesses.
the time that you're doing these phone calls with her, I mean, you're convinced at that point in time she's the person responsible for your son being missing?
At minimum, a person of interest, if you will, but
Yeah.
yeah, I had a high suspicion she was responsible.
I mean, and part of that is because, I mean, one, what she was telling you things that weren't true about leaving the car there. So that was the first thing that really shifted, correct?
When you say because, I'd rather tell you the because, but yes, that was one of the first things was that really put her as a person of interest in my mind, and I've said that repeatedly.
Absolutely. And then she goes from saying that Gannon never came home to like a couple days later saying Eduardo was down there and raped me and took Gannon at gunpoint.
No, before she left the house, the defendant told me the first rape story. We covered that yesterday.
Okay. And sorry, thank you for clarifying that. So she's still in the house with you when she comes up, changes from he just doesn't come home to this Eduardo rape story.
Yeah, I don't remember when the specific name Eduardo was given by the defendant, but the first rape story would have been Wednesday morning in the bed in a master bedroom, as I testified to yesterday.
So he comes home from his military training because he finds out his son is missing. So he comes home from his military training. I believe he was in Oklahoma. And he's in his home where Gannon was killed. He didn't know that at that time. And his wife, who was responsible for the murder, is sitting there telling him, "Oh, I was raped, and whoever raped me, Eduardo, raped me and then kidnapped Gannon," to his face. This poor guy. I mean, his 11-year-old son.
And then you're aware that she goes down to the sheriff's statement and does an interview about the rape story.
I believe that was later that morning or early afternoon. I don't know specifically when she got there.
Okay. I mean, and at that point, I mean, it's fair to say now I mean, whatever suspicions, I mean, your suspicions become more heightened at that point about her involvement. When it goes from he doesn't come home to this seemingly ridiculous story.
If anyone has any questions, go ahead and you can type it in the comments and I can answer them, because we are about to end. I'm about to end the coverage for today. I'm getting close to all the footage I have from the trial. I do have a few more pieces of testimony I will play.
Yeah, and I've been pretty clear
Yeah.
from the point of not finding her car where the defendant said it was. From that point forward, everything just compounded, and my suspicions just got worse and worse.
Yeah, his suspicions got worse and worse. I mean, she was coming up with some dumb, crazy stories that made no sense.
I gotta come home.
That's not what I want to play. I want to see. I have one more. Nope, that's it. That's all I got. So basically just a rundown of what happened. Letecia Stauch, Stauch. I hate trying to say that last name. Was the sole provider for Gannon. She was married to Gannon's father. She was the stepmother, Al Stauch. He was away in Oklahoma for some sort of military training or Coast Guard, one of those. And he finds out Gannon went missing. So he comes home, and 6 weeks later, they find Gannon in a suitcase in Florida. This happened in Colorado. And Letecia, who was taking care of Gannon, was just giving him the runaround, all these crazy stories for 6 weeks. And then basically she admitted to killing Gannon. And as I played earlier, she stabbed him several times, shot him twice, put him in a suitcase, and dumped him in Florida. It's a disgusting trial. I will have more updates for you. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good one.